Welcome to the Ask Junior Daily Judgment podcast. I'm Priya Sharma, and joining me today is Arjun Mehta.
Hello, everyone. We're excited to dive into today's important judgment. But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our podcast if you enjoy our daily legal breakdowns.
That's right, your support helps us reach more listeners and continue providing in-depth analysis of the latest court decisions. Now let's get started with today's case, which revolves around a significant ruling from the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York involving OpenAI and two prominent media organizations, Raw Story Media and Alternet Media.
This case is particularly fascinating as it touches on the intersection of copyright law and artificial intelligence. So let's break it down. The plaintiffs, Raw Story Media and Alternet Media, allege that OpenAI, the company behind the AI service ChatGPT, has violated the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or DMCA, by using their copyrighted works without permission.
Exactly. To give our listeners some context, the DMCA was enacted in 1998 to address the challenges posed by the Internet to copyright law. It includes provisions that protect copyright owners from unauthorized use of their works, particularly in the digital realm. One key aspect of the DMCA is Section 1202, which deals with copyright management information, or CMI.
Right, and CMI refers to any information that identifies the work, its author, or the copyright owner. The plaintiffs argue that OpenAI removed this information from their works before using them to train ChatGPT, which they claim is a violation of Section 1221 of the DMCA.
So, let's dive into the facts of the case. Raw Story Media and Alternet Media claim that thousands of their copyrighted articles were included in the training datasets used by OpenAI, specifically in three datasets known as WebText, WebText2, and Common Crawl. They allege that their works were stripped of their authorship and copyright information during this process.
And this is crucial because the plaintiffs argue that without this information, ChatGPT cannot properly attribute the content it generates, which could lead to significant harm to their businesses. They seek both damages and injunctive relief, hoping to prevent OpenAI from using their works in the future.
Now, OpenAI responded by filing a motion to dismiss the complaint, arguing that the plaintiffs lack standing to bring their claims. This is a fundamental legal concept that requires a party to demonstrate they have been directly harmed by the actions of the defendant.
That's right. The court examined whether the plaintiffs had established what's known as Article 3 standing, which requires a concrete injury that is actual or imminent, caused by the defendant, and likely to be redressed by judicial relief. The court found that the plaintiffs did not sufficiently demonstrate this standing.
Specifically, the court noted that while the plaintiffs claimed the removal of CMI constituted a concrete injury, they failed to show that any of their works had been disseminated by ChatGPT in a way that caused them harm. The court emphasized that mere allegations of potential future harm were not enough to establish standing.
This brings us to an important legal principle, the requirement for a concrete injury. The court referenced the Supreme Court's decision in TransUnion LLC versus Ramirez, which clarified that a plaintiff must show a real and not abstract injury to have standing in federal court.
The court also addressed the plaintiff's argument that the unauthorized removal of CMI was akin to copyright infringement. However, it concluded that Section 1202 of the DMCA does not grant the same protections as other sections of the Copyright Act, which specifically address reproduction and derivative works.
This distinction is critical. The court pointed out that while the DMCA protects against the removal of CMI, it does not prevent defendants from reproducing or creating derivative works as long as they maintain the CMI. This means that OpenAI could potentially use the plaintiff's works without violating the DMCA, provided they did not alter the CMI.
The implications of this ruling are significant, especially for content creators and media organizations. It raises questions about how AI companies can use copyrighted material and what protections exist for those creators in the digital age.
Absolutely. The court's decision also highlights the ongoing tension between innovation in AI and the rights of copyright holders. As AI technology continues to evolve, we may see more cases like this one where the boundaries of copyright law are tested.
And let's not forget the plaintiff's request for injunctive relief. They argued that there was a substantial risk that ChatGPT would reproduce their works without proper attribution in the future. However, the court found that they did not provide sufficient evidence to support this claim.
The court noted that while there are historical analogs for seeking injunctive relief, the plaintiffs failed to demonstrate a substantial risk of future harm. They pointed out that ChatGPT synthesizes information from a vast array of sources, making it unlikely that it would output a specific copyrighted work verbatim.
This brings us to the broader implications of the ruling. It suggests that media organizations may need to be more proactive in protecting their works, especially as AI technologies become more integrated into content creation and dissemination.
Indeed, and it raises the question of whether new legal frameworks are needed to address the unique challenges posed by AI. As we continue to see advancements in technology, the law must adapt to ensure that creators are adequately protected.
Before we wrap up, let's touch on the potential for the plaintiffs to amend their complaint. The court denied their motion for leave to replead without prejudice, meaning they could potentially file a new complaint if they can provide a proper record and demonstrate a cognizable injury.
This is an important point. The court's willingness to consider an amended pleading suggests that there may still be avenues for the plaintiffs to pursue their claims, provided they can substantiate their allegations with concrete evidence.
And that's a wrap on our analysis of this significant judgment. We hope you found our discussion informative and engaging.
Before we sign off, we'd like to remind our listeners once again to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you daily updates on the most important legal decisions.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another exciting episode. Until then, this is Priya Sharma.
And Arjun Mehta, signing off. Thanks for listening to the Ask Junior Daily Judgment podcast.